Yesterday, at the invitation of President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, Prime Minister of Italy Giorgia Meloni arrived in Uzbekistan on an official visit. The President personally welcomed the Prime Minister at Samarkand International Airport. To honor the distinguished guest, officials raised the national flags of both countries and lined up a guard of honor. Upon arriving in Uzbekistan, Prime Minister, accompanied by President, visited the architectural ensemble of Kyrgyzstan. The distinguished guests learned about the historical background of the gem of Eastern architecture, the distinctive features of its design and decoration, significant events and figures associated with the site, and the cultural heritage of Uzbek people. The two leaders then visited the Eternal City Historical and Ethnographic Park, located with the Silk Road Samarkand International Tourism Center. They explored exhibits showcasing the rich cultural traditions of the Uzbek people, including craftsmanship and applied arts. A cultural program featuring performances by dance ensembles was also presented. Samarkand hosted the official welcoming ceremony for the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who is on an official visit to Uzbekistan. A guard of honor lined up on the square in the front of the Congress Center. President Shavkat Mirziyoyev warmly welcomed the distinguished guest and invited her to the ceremonial podium. A military orchestra performed the national anthems of both countries. The two leaders reviewed the Guard of Honor and greeted members of their official delegations. High-level talks followed the ceremony. President Shavkat Mirziyoyev and Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni held negotiations at the Congress Center in Samarkand. The discussions took place in a one-on-one format and with the participation of official delegations. They discussed ways to further develop their strategic partnership and expand multifaceted cooperation. Over the past few years, the countries nearly tripled their trade turnover by expanding the range of multiple supplies. They doubled the number of joint ventures and projects. Leading Italian companies and Uzbek partners established mutually beneficial cooperation in metallurgy, electrical engineering, agriculture, animal husbandry, tourism, and other areas. The Uzbek delegation actively participated in the Venice Biennale and organized an exhibition in Florence. In December last year, Rome and Viareggio hosted Uzbekistan Cultural Days. Branches of the University of Turin and the University of Pisa operate successfully in Uzbekistan. In April, the second Rectors' Forum took place and achieved productive results. The two sides agreed to continue active political exchanges. They plan to maintain dynamic cooperation with European Union institutions, building on a productive summit in Samarkand in April of this year. They emphasized the importance of holding Central Asia-Italy summit with a focus on practical outcomes. They agreed to expand technical assistance programs for businesses in the trade sector. These efforts include training Uzbek exporters to enter the EU market, establishing a joint certification center in Tashkent, and accelerating the adoption of agreement and on-conformity assessment. The President proposed launching a technology partnership program with the leading Italian companies. They identified priority areas such as innovative private sector projects, the processing of critical minerals and agricultural raw materials, production of automotive components and high-value added products in electrical engineering, energy, food, pharmaceuticals, and construction. They also discussed creating design centers for the textile, leather, furniture, and other industries. The government plans to place these projects in a new industrial park in the Tashkent region, managed by the European operator. New projects, the two countries will consider creating a joint investment fund and attracting Italy's state agencies SACE and SIMSET. They also focus on developing full-scale scientific and technological cooperation in agriculture based on the comprehensive roadmap. To promote new projects, the government agreed to resume the work of the intergovernmental group and organize a meeting along with the business forum. In education, both sides supported launching a branch of Tuzla University in Uzbekistan and introducing dual degree programs with the universities of Pisa, Trento, Roma Tre, and Ca' Foscari. They agreed to organize Italian Cultural Days in Uzbekistan. They also welcomed the signing of the labor migration agreement during this visit, which will create a system for structured cooperation in this area. Following the meeting, the two sides decided to prepare a comprehensive roadmap for implementing the agreements they reached. Following the negotiations held in Samarkand, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev and Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni adopted a joint declaration on strengthening strategic partnership relations. In their presence, the two sides also held a ceremony to exchange signed bilateral agreements, including an agreement on promotion and mutual protection of investments, an agreement on cooperation in critical raw materials, an agreement on cooperation in migration and mobility, an agreement on cooperation in sustainable development, environmental protection and cultural heritage, an agreement on integration of climate fund in the Italian Confederation of Agriculture and cooperation in green development with the companies Sogesit and Ansaldo, a partnership agreement with the universities of Tuzla, Pisa, and Turin. During the official visit, Uzbekistan also signed additional documents with Italy's National Research Center, the companies Semest and Dianelli, the University of Perugia, and others.